Look, you probably have a can of Coke in your refrigerator right now. Maybe a 2 liter that went flat, maybe a can you opened and didn't finish. Don't pour it down the sink. I've been running this house for close to 20 years on what most people would call not enough money. And one thing I've learned is that a thing sitting right in front of you, already paid for, can do a lot more than the one job you bought it for. Coke is a perfect example. Not because it's magic, it isn't, but because of what's actually in it. There's an acid in there, the same stuff that gives it that sharp bite on your tongue, and that acid happens to be very good at a few specific things: eating through rust, loosening mineral buildup, breaking up grease, and lifting certain stains off surfaces where nothing else wants to reach. I'm going to tell you plainly what it does well and what it doesn't, because there's enough nonsense on the internet about Coke cleaning your whole house from top to bottom, and that's not quite the truth. It has limits. I'll name them as we go. 10 uses. Here we go. Number 10, the toilet bowl. I'll start here because this is the one most people have heard of, and it's the one that made me test the rest of them. Pour a full can around the inside of the bowl, not into the water in the bottom, but up under the rim and along the sides where the staining is. Let it sit for an hour. Go do something else. Come back, give it a scrub with your brush, and flush. The staining on porcelain in a toilet bowl is mostly mineral buildup, hard water deposits, rust rings, that dark line that forms at the water level. The acid in the Coke works against those minerals the same way vinegar does, just from a different direction. You can actually use flat Coke for this. 2 liter that lost its fizz 3 days ago works just as well. The carbonation isn't doing the work here. The acid is. I won't tell you it replaces a good scrubbing. It doesn't. But as a soak before you scrub, it makes the job a lot shorter. Worth knowing. Number 9, battery terminals. If you've ever opened a car hood and found that chalky blue-white crust built up around the battery posts, that's corrosion. And it gets worse over time until the car won't start reliably. The buildup is alkaline, it's a base, and acid is exactly what neutralizes it. Pour a small amount of Coke directly onto the terminal posts. It'll fizz. That fizzing is the acid doing its job, reacting against the corrosion and breaking it apart. Let it sit for a minute or two, then scrub with an old toothbrush. Rinse with a little warm water and dry it off. 2 things I want you to hear on this one. First, make sure the car is off and the key is out before you go near those terminals. I shouldn't have to say that, but I will. Second, and this is important, dry it thoroughly. You don't want sugary liquid sitting on your battery connections. Rinse, dry, done. Number 8, rusty tools. Small hand tools that have been sitting in a damp garage or a wet toolbox, bolts and nuts that have seized, hinges that have gone orange with rust, these can all soak in Coke. Drop them in a container, pour Coke over them until they're covered, and leave them overnight. In the morning, pull them out and scrub with a steel wool pad or a stiff brush. Here's what's actually happening. The acid in the Coke reacts with the rust and turns it into something softer and darker that you can scrub away more easily. It doesn't strip the rust off by itself while things just sit there. You still have to scrub. But you're scrubbing something that's been loosened up, not something that's fighting you. I'll be honest with you, a proper rust remover from the hardware store works faster and better on anything really far gone. Coke is for the moderate stuff, the light rust, the seized bolt where you need to soak it loose. For a tool that's practically disintegrated, buy the real thing. Number 7, burnt pots and pans. You left a pot on the stove too long. There's a layer of scorched-on black stuff across the bottom that laughs at your dish soap. Pour a can of Coke into the pot, set it on the stove on low heat, and let it barely simmer for about half an hour. Don't let it boil hard, you're just warming it. Pour it out carefully and wash as normal. The combination of heat, the acid, and the bubbles works its way under that burned layer and lifts it. You may still need a little scrubbing, but you won't need the white-knuckle 20-minute scour. The bottom of the pot will surprise you. This also works on baking dishes, cast iron included. Same idea. Simmer gently, dump it out, scrub what's left. By the way, everything I'm showing you in this video, these kinds of kitchen and home fixes, things already in your house doing double duty, I've got a whole book of methods like this. Every trick I use to run this house for less, written down in one place. It's on my website, links right below this video. Go grab it if this is your kind of thing. I won't mention it again. Number 6, chrome fixtures. Chrome faucets, towel bars, the trim on older appliances, it goes dull and pitted over time. Here's the trick. Ball up a piece of aluminum foil, dip it in Coke, and rub the chrome with it. The acid in the Coke and the aluminum foil together do something that neither one does alone. The rust spots and tarnish come right off, and you're left with a shine that looks like you just installed it. This sounds too simple to work, and it works. I was skeptical too. One thing. This is for chrome, not for brushed nickel, not for matte black finishes, not for brass. Chrome only. If you're not sure what your fixtures are, test a hidden spot first. Number 5. Grease stains on clothing. Grease is one of the nastiest stains on fabric because dish soap alone doesn't always get all of it. And once it sets through a hot dryer, it's practically permanent. Here's what I do. Saturate the stain with Coke. Let it sit for 5 minutes. Then work your regular dish soap into it, not laundry detergent, dish soap, and wash it right away. The acid helps break up the grease before the soap gets to it. It's a 1 to 2 Coke first to loosen, soap to lift it out, and I'll say it twice because it matters. Do not put it in the dryer until you check that the stain is gone. If you dry it in, it's there for good. Check the fabric while it's still wet. If there's any trace left, treat it again before drying. This also works on blood stains, which I know sounds odd, but it's the same principle. Saturate the stain, let it sit a few minutes, wash normally, even dried blood that's been sitting a little while. Cold water wash, not hot. Number 4. Driveway and garage floor oil stains. Motor oil stains on concrete are ugly, and they don't come up with just water and a mop. Pour a can or more, depending on the size of the stain, directly onto it. Let it sit overnight. Hose it down in the morning. For old stains that have been there a long time, you'll need a wire brush and probably a couple of rounds. Fresh stains same day or the next, it comes up much easier. The acid works into the oil and helps release it from the concrete. This is one where I'll tell you it takes patience on a bad stain. Don't expect one can on a 20-year-old oil stain to make it disappear. But for a fresh spill, pour it on right away, and you've got a real chance at keeping that concrete clean. Number 3. Hard water buildup on faucets and shower heads. That white, crusty buildup around the base of your faucets or in the holes of a shower head that's minerals from your water, leaving themselves behind every time it dries. The same thing that leaves spots on glasses and film on your shower door. Soak a rag in Coke and wrap it around the faucet base. For a shower head, put the Coke in a bag and rubber band it around the head so the holes are submerged. Leave it for 20 minutes or so. The acid dissolves the mineral deposits so they wipe right off. Now, you could do this with white vinegar too, and honestly, vinegar is cheaper and leaves less residue to rinse. I keep vinegar for this job most of the time. But if you've got a flat Coke and you don't have vinegar, it does the same thing. Same principle, same result. Number 2, chrome on cars, bumpers, trim, wheels. Same idea as the household chrome, but bigger. This is one that mechanics have known about for a long time. Dip aluminum foil in Coke and work it over rusting or tarnished chrome car trim. It brings the shine back. If you've got pitting or bubbling rust underneath the chrome surface itself, that's a different problem. Coke can't help what's below the surface. But surface, tarnish, light rust spots, that film that builds up over time, this takes it off. Takes a little elbow grease, not a lot. And it costs you a can of soda versus whatever they charge at the auto store for chrome polish. Number 1, the burnt-on mess in your kettle or coffee maker. I saved this one for last because it's the one I use most and the one that gets me every time: the scale and mineral deposits that build up inside a kettle or inside the tank of a drip coffee maker. That chalky film on the inside of the kettle, the slowdown in your coffee maker because the pipes have narrowed with buildup, that's hard water, leaving minerals behind. And it happens everywhere, but especially in appliances that heat water repeatedly. Fill your kettle with Coke. Let it sit for 30 minutes if you're not in a hurry, or bring it to a boil, a gentle boil, and then let it stand for another 15. Pour it out and rinse well. For a coffee maker, pour Coke into the reservoir and run a cycle through like you would for a vinegar descaling. Then run 2 cycles of plain water to rinse it clean. The acid breaks down that mineral crust and it flows right out. Your kettle looks new inside. Your coffee maker runs faster. And if you've noticed your coffee tasting slightly off lately, this is probably part of the reason. Mineral buildup on heating elements changes how the water flows and how hot it gets. Clean it out and your coffee will taste better. Rinse it thoroughly. You don't want any sweetness left behind in something you're putting drinking water through. Now, one thing before you go. I want to say something about the sugar, because it's the honest part I owe you. Coke is not pure acid and carbonation. It's got a lot of sugar in it, and on a few of these uses, particularly the driveway, the shower head, anything outdoors, or on a porous surface, if you don't rinse it well, the sugar residue can attract insects and leave a sticky film. The acid does the work. The sugar is just along for the ride and needs to go. Rinse everything you clean with Coke. It's not optional. And on surfaces where you don't want any acid at all, natural stone like marble or granite, waxed wood floors, painted walls, keep the Coke away. The acid that helps you on rust and minerals will dull a stone countertop and eat through a wax finish. Same thing that makes it useful in one place makes it a problem in another. Know your surface. That's all 10. One can, or more likely, that 2-liter that's been half flat on your counter, and your toilet, your chrome, your burnt pot, your rusted tools, and your coffee maker can all be cleaner than they were this morning. Costs you nothing extra, because it was already paid for. What I want to know is this. Have you tried any of these before, and did they work for you? And is there one you were skeptical about that I convinced you to try? Tell me in the comments. I read all of them. And the stuff you share down there teaches me just as much as it teaches you.